working very well. Hi. I'm not going to answer you now, Janice. Yes, it's still raining. It's vile. Okay, 6 o'clock, Thursday night. Live Pilates class, free of charge. Any of your friends can come. You can save it, because I don't know if I know how to. Save it, use it again later, share it with anybody. So today is all about the abs. Right, abs is short for abdominal muscles. There's loads of them. And basically they're all in here. You've got some that go that way, some that go that way, some that go there. You've got your six pack that you've seen. And I've got a six pack. I've just got it hidden in my cool bag. But it's there somewhere. So it's all about the abs. And when you're in a class, you could be lifting weights in body pump, and you'll hear the teacher keep saying, abs, abs, core, brace your abs, tighten your abs, belly button to spine, core. All these things mean the same thing. So all these, I showed you a quick video this morning. The very quickest way to engage your abs, brace your core, belly button to spine, is put your hands here on your belly and cough, and concentrate on your hands. So as you cough, do your hands go which is completely the opposite, or, let me come a bit closer, do they go so bringing them in just like that. That is bracing your abs, engaging your core, all those other things. And you should be automatically doing that before you lift anything, whether it be weights in a gym or whether it be you're shopping up off the floor. Got to learn to brace your abs, and the way that I've taught a lot of people to remember it is to do a little tiny cough. So you cough and brace, because you also want to lift your pelvic floor. Cough, brace, move. So if you do that and get into a little habit, eventually you can drop the cough, because it's only a tiny one that everybody's going to hear you anyway. So thank you for coming. I can see lots of people here. Different tonight. I'm Instagramming here, Facebooking here. God knows how it's going to work or whether I'll be able to get it on YouTube, but I'll give it a whirl, and hopefully all those people who aren't on social media will be able to get it on YouTube tonight or tomorrow. So as always, let's talk about our posture. So posture is the good posture is brilliant. Bad posture, cause of nearly all your problems. Neck problems, shoulder problems, hips, especially back problems. Whether you're standing or sitting, most lower back pain is caused by poor posture. So I bang on about it and on about it, and like that little here on your shoulder. So lengthen your neck. Take your shoulders down and back. So we're going from here to here. Neutral spine, hands on your hips and pivot. And keep pivoting. It's really good for your back anyway, for mobility. Make that movement as big as you can, but notice I'm not moving my shoulders backwards and forwards, just my hips moving. Make that movement smaller and smaller and smaller until you stop in the middle, and that's your neutral spine. So you will have a little curve here, you will have a little lump here, you will have a little curve here. That's Mother Nature intended that, but in that state your vertebrae are stacked neatly on top of each other where she intended them, and that gives your discs a bit of a break, because your discs are then nice and flat instead of being squeezed and bulging. So that's why you get bad back pain, because your discs get squeezed out and they press against a nerve, and that's why you get the bad back pain. So okay, abs. What do? We cough, bring them in, cough, bring your pelvic floor up, and then you're set up. In Pilates, it's a bit different to yoga. We breathe in through the nose before, out through the mouth as though you're blowing through a straw before. It's a very calming breath rate. So even if you are a bit nervous or you feel your heart rate going a little bit, you can use that breath rate to calm yourself down, okay? And you can even extend the out breath to make it even better. So if you're feeling a bit nervous, or you say you've just done a run or something, you need to get your heart rate down. Inhale, exhale, long and hard. It's brilliant. Okay, so there's your breath rate. Let's start by mobilising every little bit of the body like we always do. So we're going to turn the face, no shoulder movement, to the side and back. And on to the other side and back. Keep that movement going at that speed. You're not trying to force anything now. Keep going. All you're trying to do now is mobilise your neck, because we're going to be using it later. Now look up to the ceiling, whilst core engaged, floor engaged, shoulders still down and back, chin to chest. And up. Again, nothing's moving. Shoulders aren't moving, my back's not moving, just my neck. I'm mobilising my neck. And now we're going to turn in a circle. So at this point, while we're doing this, I have to remind you that I don't know you. I know some of you, but I don't know your history. I don't know if you're injured. If you've got any injuries or any niggles, don't do this unless your doctor has said Pilates is good for you. Keep going. And also, don't do any exercises that will hurt you. So if you have a bad neck and I say turn your neck, if this doesn't hurt, do lots of this. If this hurts, don't do it. You're supposed to be getting yourself better. You won't get better if you keep aggravating your injury. So whatever I ask you to do, whether it's knee injury, whether you've got knee injury, an elbow injury, a shoulder injury, don't go into pain. Okay? And now we do the shoulders. So imagine you have a pencil here and a pencil here, and you want to just draw a small circle with the pencil. Now make that pencil circle as big as you like without any pain. Sticking to my mouth. Sweaty feet. And the other way. That's actually very lovely. And if you've ever got a stiff neck, stiff shoulders, always do as much of this as you can. Now we're going to bring the arms into it. So, small circle with the arms. Again, don't just have limp arms, have engaged arms. Active, engaged, strong, whichever you want to call it. There we go. And then make it as big as you like without any pain. Keep the core engaged, keep the pelvic floor lifted. Shoulders aren't up around your ears, they're staying where they are. It's actually mobility for the shoulder we're on now. Change direction. So I'm going to try and see any. Hi, Lynn. Kez, hi. Oh, Kez is here. She's an expert. A pro. If ever you need any massage, go to Kez or Michelle. Okay, we're going to go out to the side. Remember Barbara Windsor. So look, I can actually see me. I know that my shoulders and my elbows and the backs of my hands are all shoulder height. So now I fling them out to get a nice chest stretch. Keep going while I say we were also going to talk about balance. And I don't mean this time standing on one leg, although we do a lot of that. I mean balance of your muscles. So whilst this is giving a nice stretch for the front, it's also working the back muscles. And that's what I was talking about balance. We want to balance the front with the back in this instance. So when we're working the abs today, we're not just going to be working the front bit. Keep going. We're going to be working all the way around the middle. Because if you have, this is a really good example. Let's change it. Hold on. Do some diagonal. There you go. If you have really strong chest muscles and really weak back muscles, what happens is you end up like this. So to balance it, you need to also, and if you are in this position, we need to do lots of exercise to improve the strength of these muscles, and we need to stretch these muscles. So instead of being like this or like this, you'll balance. So these muscles are strong and stretchy as these. Same applies to these muscles. You could have really good muscles on the front of your thighs, but you need to sort your hamstrings out. We see a lot of men, they're called mirror muscles, you know, so if you're looking in the mirror, what you see, mirror muscles. So men like to have big biceps. So they have big biceps, but at the cost often of here. And sometimes you'll see people who can't even straighten their arms because they've made these muscles so strong and contracted that now they can't straighten the arms. So they need to be working on stretching them and strengthening them, stretching them and strengthening them. Hope you understand. If you don't, please give me a question. But that applies to your whole body, so that's why we'll be working all the way around the middle today. Okay, now we want to just work the hips and the back. So can you feel that warming up your back? It's lovely. And again, if you've been driving your car and you've got backache, or you've been sat at your desk for ages and you've got backache, this is the one for you. And as long as that doesn't hurt, you go as big as you like. We're using all these muscles. Now change direction. Small, and as long as it doesn't hurt, as big as you like. You've seen the weather. Have you got the rain we've got? It is dreadful. Absolutely throwing it down. Okay, now if that did hurt, you're overdoing it. Go back to this. If it didn't hurt, we can now take the whole of this lot around here. Start small, of course, and if you have your hands on your hips for support just in case you need them, and you can go as big as you like. So you can go as far back as you're allowed without any pain, as far to the side, as far to the front. It's your body, your exercise, and I really can't be held responsible for you flinging yourself all around the place and hurting yourself. Okay, change direction. So creaking is okay. I am creaking. I did a good workout this morning with Michelle Bowen. Anybody wants to do that? I'm sending you that way. It's brilliant. Half an hour HIIT every morning. Okay, now we're going to go down the side. Stretching our sides ready for later. Nothing massive. And if you look side on, if you notice, I'm not leaning forward or back. I'm in between two panes of double glazing, and I can't go either way. Very gentle. And we will be using the hips, so we're just going to swing front to back. Arms here for better balance. Core engaged, floor lifted, shoulders stay down and back. So if you're only getting your hip here, it doesn't matter because it's your body. It's just I'm quite bendy, aren't I? So, and then the best one, which is the hardest for your balance, is this one. It's a killer. Everybody falls over. Doing all right today. Okay, I'm going to do the same on the other leg. When you're doing this, by bending your leg like this and tipping your pelvis under, I'm not using my hip. All I'm doing is putting a lot of weight on this leg. So you want to stay upright and work it from there. This, not doing anything. Okay, and side to side. Once you start wobbling, you might as well stop, regather, and carry on. Okay, let's do some awkward chairs. So take your arms up, arms by your ears, drop back into awkward chair, and back up, and back. Notice my knees don't go out or in, they stay over my feet. It's called tracking your feet. And it's very good for you. So what's happened is we're just doing that little bit of mobility. I'm just realizing how warm my muscles are getting and mobile my joints are getting, and I can go a bit further. So now I want you to go inhale. As you come into awkward chair, go into prayer position, and from here just turn to one side slowly and back, and the other side and back and down. Inhale, prayer, turn one way and back, turn the other way and back. We're going to do one more. I'll show you from the side. Inhale, prayer, turn one way and back, and the other way and back and back. Up onto your toes, lift your toes, up onto your toes, lift your toes, lift your toes, lift your toes. Okay, right, you can have a lie down now. So we're going to do I'm going to show you how to switch your abs on the floor. Okay. Right. So you can see my stomach's quite flat. It's all gravity is taking it down. Now I'm going to take my belly button to spine, but I don't want to tip my hips up because that's defeating the object again. I'm doing something different. I want to keep everything still and then just suck my belly button into my spine. Nothing's moved. I can still got a bit of room under there. Release it. Inhale. As you exhale, suck your belly button into your spine. See, my hips aren't moving, my shoulders and my ribs aren't moving, nothing. Switching your abs on, embracing your abs, engaging your core, all those things. It's not embracing your abs, although I like to embrace my abs. Embracing your abs. So all those things mean the same thing. Can you see mine going up and down? My back's not moving at all, it's all in the abs. Now when you hear people say about scooping or zipping up, what you're doing then is you think about all the insides here, your muscles and everything, take them belly button to spine and then suck them up under your ribs. It's not easy, it's really not easy, and there's a whole lesson in that yourself, but try it. Again, not ribs, nothing's moving except this lot in here. Okay, now we're going to do ab prep, which is the simplest of exercises lying in this supine position. So I've got my arms down by my side. I want to get a neutral spine. So if you put your hands in the diamond, put your fingertips on your pubic bone and your thumbs on your belly button. Now if I tilt my pelvis, do you see how that's not level? It's tipping up. And if I arch my back too much, then my diamond isn't level either. It's not parallel with the ceiling. I've got a lot of movement there, which is nice. It's a good exercise. But what I want to do is make that rocking motion smaller and smaller until, if I go to put a spirit level over this diamond, it would be level. And that's where it is. You can still have a tiny arch in your back, and my hips are still in the same position, and my ribs. Now I want to talk about imprinting the spine. Got my thumbs on my ribs, fingertips on my hips. So instead of pelvic tilting, like a lot of people want to when you're asked to do an exercise, instead of pelvic tilting, you watch how my fingers, my thumbs, move a tiny bit towards my fingers. So it's ribs down to hips, not hips up. So there's hips up, try that. That's the opposite, ribs down. All that does, it switches on the six pack a little bit more to help you with the exercise. So, I've got my neutral spine, my shoulders are down, and my hands are on the floor. I'm going to float my hands off the floor and lift. I'm looking straight up 45 degrees and roll back down. And same again. It's as though I've got an orange under my chin. So I'm not going like that, and I'm not letting my head fall back. So, can you do that? When you do that, does your belly button give up and relax? If it does, do the same again, but smaller. So I'm not lifting as much, I'm just making a smaller movement. You want to find the biggest movement you can do without losing this contraction. So if it's there, that's fine. It just means you have weak abs at the moment, and the more you practice, the quicker you'll get strong abs. So I know a lot of my clients who are here with me today, well beyond this, So now you see if you can take your arms up over your head again without losing this contraction. And float down. So we're going to do a few more of those. See the timing? Up, arms, down, back to the floor. Up, arms, down, back to the floor. Let's do 2 more. If your neck is really aching, you can put your hand just under it. You're not yanking your head forward, you're just supporting it, because it is heavy, isn't it? And down. When you want to rest or stretch after any of these that we're doing on our backs, bring one knee into your chest, then the other knee, roll around on your spine. It gives your abs a rest, and it also gives your back a nice massage. Okay, now we're just going to move up a level. So let's get this imprint right. Have another practice. Imprint the spine. Bring one leg up to tabletop, as though I'm resting my leg on a table. Now, pointy toes are pretty. Flexed foot means you're getting a stretch in the calf at the same time. I like to multitask. And take it down. Bring the other leg to tabletop. So this isn't tabletop, this is actually resting. This is tabletop. And down. And down. So if you can do that without any of this giving way, then we're going to take one leg to tabletop, imprint the spine, take the other leg to tabletop, one down, then the other down, and swap. So this leg first, imprint, other leg, one down. This is all building up to the 100, which is horrible, but there is a level for everybody, so panic not. Right, so it's up to you now. How do you feel doing that? If you're doing this nicely without your back lifting even a millimetre off the floor, then we're going to move up a level. If not, then make the same movement smaller until you can do it without at all losing any of this. So now we're going to take one leg to tabletop, and take the other leg to tabletop, and float the hands off the floor. So the 100 is 100 vigorous beats of the arm. It's a killer. If you need to, you can rest your head on one hand, or you can even replace it to the floor if you need to. But otherwise, we're here. So this here, when you've got your knee near your chest, is cheating. You need your knee at least above your hips. So I'm not counting anymore because I've lost a bit of time. So you're doing 100. So you breathe in for 4, and out for 4. If you lose this contraction, you may as well come back down and start again. And the reason I say that is because you'll never get it back once you've lost it. You just need to start again. So you take one leg to tabletop, other leg to tabletop, and bring it up. Okay, now a lot of you are really strong and you've been coming to me for a long time, and you've been doing this. If you had to do this till you got to failure, you'd probably be doing 200. So you need a way of making it more difficult. Simply straighten the legs, because they're a lever. The longer the lever, the heavier it is. Would you believe that? They're the same legs, but they're now heavier. So now you could do your 100 here, as long as your back's not lifting. And again, if that's too easy, you could do your 100 here, or you could do your 100 here. And some of you I know are doing something different. We're doing 10 and in. 10 and in. So you have to choose your exercise. And somebody could give me a thumbs up when we've done 100, because I obviously am not doing it. I'm looking for the thumbs up now. Oh dear. Always rest when you need to. Okay, so here we go, thank you. Bring the knees in, roll around on your spine. Arching the back. Just a little stretch, take one leg out, foot's flexed. And swap. And swap. And swap. Right, this neatly brings us into the next exercise, which is scissors. So it has the same starting point, one leg at tabletop, imprint the spine, other leg at tabletop, and it's not a knee movement, it's a hip movement. So you take one leg, take the heel down to the floor. Did the back lift, or were you able to keep it there? Bring it back. And the other leg. And bring it back. And you can keep doing that, or some of you, as long as you can keep your back down, you can keep that movement going in this scissor motion. So there you go, scissors. And again, the longer the lever, the heavier it is, you can have your legs straight. And then the final tweak, you could have your hands here and be doing it here. And you can even push your leg away, a bit of resistance. So, if you're not doing the hands, then do it under control. Under control. I see a lot of people putting their hands here when they're doing these exercises, and all that's actually doing, it is supporting your back, but actually it's making these exercises too easy, so you do have to do loads more of them. And we don't want to be here all day, do we? We want to get to a point where we're going, oh, I've got to stop, rather than just keep going and going and going. So try faster or slower, whichever you prefer. But notice, because I've got my foot flexed, I'm getting a stretch all down my calf and hamstring into the bum each time, which is really good for you, especially you runners who never stretch. Rest when you need to, same rest, hugging the knees into the chest, rolling around on your spine. Did anybody turn their watch on? I forgot. There we go. Hang on. Okay, bring them in. Now you're feeling it in your hip flexors, which are these muscles here. That's because they're working really hard as well. Everybody okay? Right, coming up to sitting, this is the proper way to do it. I see a lot of people do this, and that's when they hurt their back. So I have to show you the proper way. Right, a big bugbear of mine are sit-ups in the gym. When you're in the gym and you're told, oh, 50 sit-ups, and you see people going like this, and all they're doing is using momentum to fling their body up. Yeah, they're doing this, but then you can do 50, but they're not 50 good ones. They're not quality high. They're not quality sit-ups. So in Pilates, we do a sit-up, if you just bear with me. Starts here, goes all the way down. You can even bring the arms into it. No help by flinging. It's all under control, core engaged, all smooth. So that's a Pilates sit-up, and you'll be surprised how many people can't do that. And when we were in my class, I have equipment, I have bands, and we use the bands to help. So we lower ourselves down with the bands. But of course, we haven't got them that way. So what I want you to do instead, starting at the top, I want you to have your arms out in front of you, and I only want you to go a little bit down. So the first part is to make a C shape with your back. You can't roll on a flat thing, you have to have a rounded back to roll. So we're going to round the back and just go not very far at all. Inhale at the bottom and back up. Round your back, a little way down. Keep that switched on. If you lose that, you've gone too far. Just do a smaller one, because you could just do this one. Okay. Now, if anybody wants to try and go a bit further, just go a bit more, but back up. And again. So what you'll realise, try it if you want to, go all the way down, and can you control it all the way down, or do you get to a point where you just go? Because if you do that, then getting up is going to be really hard, and you'll end up having to go quick to get yourself up. So don't go all the way down if you have to hoik at all. I can't hear you, but... And if you want to add on another cheeky little stretch, I've got my feet flexed. Pointy toes are pretty, but we're flexing. So I can actually do a forward stretch. And then out of it all I get a really big workout for my core, mobility for the shoulders, workout, and then a stretch. So getting the whole thing. You'll find you move on the mat while you're doing this. Still managing to non-hoik. Hoik. So I'm going to do about 3 more, but rest if you need to. There's 1. Yeah, I'm moving, aren't I? There's 2. The last 1. And that's 3. Brilliant. Okay. So just have a little wobble around. Because that's nice. Okay. So one more we're going to do in this position, and it's just for a bit of fun really. Roll back. Okay. We'll build up to it as we always do. So grab your knees onto your tiptoes. Now, can you take your feet off the floor and not fall over? Okay. Have a give it a bit of a wobble just to see who's in charge. Are you in charge? Still got my straight back, still got my shoulders. So in other words, I'm not in this position. I'm straight. Okay, let's have a try at lifting the legs and putting the hands behind the thighs. Flex your feet again. Pointy toes pretty. We want to flex. Still in charge of that balance. Okay, you could let go. No, that's good. But grab when you need to, because what you notice now is to help your core out, your hip flexors are switched on, and all these muscles here are switched on as well. Which are your quads, your thighs. Okay, so the one that we're going to do that's the fun one is to roll back. Now you have to roll. So anybody who has any osteoporosis, I know you might be watching, anybody with osteoporosis of the spine, please don't do this. You carry on doing this exercise. In fact, I'll give you something to do. You can do this one. Okay? So anybody who has been told not to roll on their backs, don't do this one. So what we're going to do, we're going to keep that position here. So we're not flinging the legs up and down. And we're going to roll back, not onto your neck, only onto your shoulders, and then come back up to here. That's the hard bit, is keeping the balance. So we go back, and back up, and back, and back up. So we're going to keep doing that. If you fall over, so what? Nobody can see. So you can try it as well without holding on, which makes it a little bit harder. You never go onto your neck. This is the roll back. And if you find that very easy, you can take the legs wide, hold on to the ankles. This is really hard. I hope I can do it. Yeah, there we are. So that's the bit that's hard, is the stopping at the top without falling over and making a complete twit of yourself. Here we are. How are we going? Is it alright? Just a bit of fun. Could still be here, remember? And you could still be here, remember? There's lots of options for people who are new to Pilates, new to exercise, or have been coming to me for a long time, as some of you have. Let's do a couple more. Brilliant. It's alright, isn't it? And bring it down. How are you feeling? Have a rest, have a breathe. I'll show you the next one. So the next one's can-can, and it is an advanced move, but again, there are lots of levels. So I'm going to give you the basic level, and then build it up and build it up. And as long as you're doing it with good form, try the next level. Okay, so this is the same starting position, like this. And we don't want this. We need chest proud, hands behind the body, chest proud, neck lengthened. And we do it on count of 3, so it's 3 movements. I've got my tiptoes on the floor, so we're going 1, 2, 3. On the third one, you can count the leg. Quite nice. 1, 2, can. 1, 2, can. So it's that speed, it's not any faster. Right, so I know some of you have been coming for a long time, been doing this before. You can both legs. So it's 1, 2, and can. That is a real workout for your core. That's why it's called an advanced move. And 3. And then if that's still too easy, and you want to take it up a level as long as you're doing that without going, then you can leave your feet off the floor. So they're just off the floor, hovering. So it's now 1, 2. So I'm not getting that rest. 3, 1, 2, 3. Still got my chest proud. Need to rest? Please rest. You can just lie on the floor. Missed one then. Oops. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. Well done. Okay. So what you need to do now is just slump forward and relax. Okay, we're going to do some side ones, haven't we? Because we've done a lot on the front, and by keeping that back into the floor, you're working those back muscles without you realising it. So we can do some side ones. We're going to do side lift. Now I know a lot of you have weaker arms than lower half. The main thing I'll say is if you let your head sink into your shoulder, you're going to potentially hurt your neck. So you've just got to grow out of your shoulder. Can you see the difference from there to there? That's where we need to be. So I've got that funny elbow, so I'm going to have a little bit of extra padding. You might want some extra padding as well, just so I can hang my elbow over the end. Okay, so now I'm in a bit of a straight line, but I'm going to keep my knee on the floor and straighten the other leg, straighten the top leg. So I need to get from this position into this position. I'll show you this way around. So in a straight line, I don't want to be in a kink here. I want to be in a straight line with this hip directly above the other hip. I can leave my knee on the floor, You're going to inhale, and as you exhale, take the whole lot of the body up, and you want to take this up to the ceiling without letting this hang out. And then down. If you want to work hard, just kiss the floor, straight back up. You keep going. I'll show you from the side. Here. And down. Just kiss the floor. So I know some of you will find this a bit too easy because you've been doing it for a long time. So straighten the leg. So I've got the bottom leg just behind the top leg, the foot. So now I'm in my side plank. Lower and raise. Lower and raise. So I'm getting a stretch of my side here and the big workout. If you come down here and stop and have a little bit of a picnic, that's cheating. Just try and keep it moving. But do rest when you have to, please. Still breathing, still with me. Think about what you'd like next week, so we'll be asking you. Rest when you need to. You could curl in a ball on your side like this if you need to rest. Very relaxing. If not, going. I'm going to do 5 more. 2, 3, 4, last one, 5, and come down, curl into a ball. That's killer. Yeah, got my heart rate up. Right, okay. So we don't forget which side we did. We're going to do the other side straight away because you know what I'm like. I don't know my left from my right. I always get it wrong if I turn around. So I'm going to go straight onto this side. Oh, don't need quite that. So, building myself up. Right, so I've got my knee on the floor. Got my hips in line with each other. My elbow is in line with my bum. Grow out of the shoulder. And inhale. As you exhale, lift. And take it up. So this is as much about the shoulder as it is about the waist, and that's why we're leaving the knee on the floor. So you have 3 points of contact with the floor, helping you lift. Remember, if you want to, you take the lower leg behind the top one. Rest when you need to, curl into a ball on your side, whatever you need to do. All the exercises after this are on your front. Right, I'm going to do 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, last one, 5, relax. So what I need to do, my body's telling me I need to shake my shoulders off. Brilliant. And the other one. Okay, so the next few exercises are all on your front. I think I just need to hold the mat a little bit. Okay. So we need to work our back muscles as well, because remember I said you have to have balance. Now all those exercises you were doing where you were trying to keep your back on the floor, they were working your back muscles, but now these are specific for your back muscles. So the first one we're going to do is swimming, and some of you, it is a tough exercise. So we're going to start it with round the world. Round the world, I'm going to keep my face looking at the floor. I raise one arm as high as I can without lifting the hip or the shoulder. I'm still facing the floor all the time. And lower it down. And the other one. We don't want to hurt the neck by pulling it back. And now we're going to lift one leg and bring it down, and the other leg and bring it down. Right, so you can keep doing that if you're new to Pilates. And all I'll say is, imagine you have an ice cube under your tummy, and what that will do, it'll make you pop and engage your core. But an ice cube is easier, isn't it? So if you want to, you can take one arm and the opposite leg, but only if you were doing the previous exercise without any stress and without hurting your back. So that's your intermediate. And if you want to make the hard level, staying at the bottom, lift both arms and legs and swim like Billy-O. You know, like we used to on those little dolls that you wound up. Now, go look from the front. What I need to show you is the hands don't go out. You can't see. The hands aren't going out side to side, they're going up and down. I just realised you can't see that either. And the legs, they're not going side to side, they're staying together. Because then you're using your bum and all your back. Okay? So keep going, rest when you need to, and the perfect rest for all of these on your front is child pose. So whenever you need to adopt child pose. Still got that ice cube under your tummy. And it's not about the knee exercise either, it's not this, it's from the whole thigh. Still breathing. Okay, now relax. And push up into child pose. You okay? Okay. We have to do plank. I'm sorry. There's somebody on here watching now that can do 5-minute plank. That is awesome. So I'm going to give you an exercise that will improve your plank without hanging around for 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes. So, plank. We can do plank. I like high plank because, you know, my elbow. First of all, let's just do some cat-cows to find your neutral spine. So if you look, my back is perfectly flat. My shoulders are down and back. This is not, and this is definitely not allowed. Okay, so you have a neutral spine. So we find it by doing cat, neutral spine. Cow. Again, this is a really good stretch if you've been gardening, sewing, whatever. So anytime you need to rest, do this or do this. Okay, to go to plank now, slide one leg out. Notice I'm not lifting that hip at all, I'm keeping the hips level, so both my hips will be facing the floor. Neck's lengthened, so we don't want the shoulders here and we don't want the shoulders here, we want the shoulders above the wrists. When you're ready, slide the other leg out. Make sure you brace your core, so it's belly button to spine, and definitely no dippy backs, that's so bad for you. So this is plank. Now I know some people find plank hard because some people might have back issues. So if I were you, I would do this plank and stay here. This can be your plank. As long as you're doing plank, it doesn't matter which one. So for the rest of us, because we're building up on this, we're going to do plank here. Lots of things you can do, but because it's a core exercise that we want, we're going to bring one knee in and pretend you're trying to kiss your knee and take it out. Now we don't mean this, mountain climbers, it's a controlled, bring it in, take it out. Other side, if you want to, bring it out. If you want to make it harder, do 6 on one side at this speed. 1, 2, 3. If you need to rest your wrists, just take them under. 4, 5, 6. It's killer, isn't it? I know it's killer. And the other side. But this means those people that can hold plank for hours and hours, instead of spending hours and hours, you can make it more difficult by doing this. 3, 4, 5, and 6. See how much harder it is by doing 6 on one side and 6 on the other. So the next exercise we've got for backs, it's called the single leg kick, the double leg kick. It's on your front. We're only going to do a part of it, the lower part at first. So if you lie on your front, do what you like with your hands, but the lower part, brace your abs. So imagine you've got that ice cube under your tummy, and then double kick with the legs. 1, 2, down. How's that feel? Knees are clicking. 1, 2, 3, and down. 1, 2, 3, and down. The upper part of the same exercise is here. We start with our hands behind the back. If you can't get your hands behind your back, you can have them on the floor with the backs of your hands on the floor, or here. So forehead on the floor to make it easy. We're going to go inhale. As you exhale, lift the upper body, turn the hands to make a dart, and then you're pulling your shoulder blades towards each other and down. Okay? All the time having that ice cube under your tummy. So it's a bit of a coordination thing, a massive coordination thing actually. So if you want to, you could say do 10 at the top end, then 10 at the bottom. But those of you who want to try the whole thing, it's adding the 2 together. So we're going to do 2 leg kicks. 1, 2. This is the first one. So as they go down, I'm lifting my knees off the floor. And then as I do, I take the upper body up. And then I don't let my knees go to the floor completely. It's a really big workout. You want to keep your knees together. Like I say, if you want to, you can do all the bottom half first and then the top half, because it's a massive coordination thing. And it is the last exercise, by the way. So go for it. So this is now working all the back muscles, all the way from the bum, backs of the legs, even your calf muscles, all the way up to the top. This is an advanced move, so if you've cracked this, well done. If I show you the full one, is when you take the face down this side this time, and next time this side. But that's really a brain strain. So if you want to keep your forehead to the floor, do. I'm going to do 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Last one. 5. Well done. You've done all the hard work. Very carefully now, ease yourself back into child pose. Now, because we've used the inner thighs, when you're doing any exercise, your legs want to drift apart. Just the act of keeping them together is using your inner thigh muscles. So the best child pose to do now, because we're going to hold it for a long time, wide leg. So I've got my knees wide, toes together, and now I do my big stretch here. I've got my elbows off the floor because, just watch this area here, I'm turning my armpits away from each other. So I'm scrunching this together using power and stretching the front. And now I'm turning my armpits in towards each other, so I'm stretching the back and scrunching the front. So, alternate between the two whilst I'm getting an inner thigh stretch and a nice rounded back stretch as well. We're here for a while because this is a developmental stretch at the end of the class. So what you're trying to do now, remember I said about these people that keep producing muscles and then don't stretch them off, they end up with short muscles. So you've used all these muscles and now you have to stretch them off developmentally to develop the length of the stretch, and the muscle. So in other words, even though I've got strong biceps, I don't want bulky biceps. I personally don't want them. So I always stretch them off, and it's the same with all the other muscles. I don't want tight muscles. I want long, lean muscles that work. So it's vital you stretch off. And the biggest mistake I see are runners who are using those hamstrings and calves and then don't stretch off, and then that's when they twang them, and they twang their Achilles tendon, you know, that one at the back of your ankle. So it's really vital you stretch off. Okay, so there's your big stretch. You've done the inner thighs, you've done the shoulders. Now we're going to change it so that you get a nice side stretch. So I've got back into my child pose. I'm now taking this arm out to the side, and I'm going to follow it with the other one, put the other hand on top. So what I'm getting now, because I haven't moved my hips, I'm getting a stretch now all the way down here. And relax into it. And breathe. It's supposed to be nice. If you're like in your head scream or out loud because I'm not there, if you're screaming at me to say, oh this hurts, hurry up, it's because you've overdone it. So instead of going 45 degrees, just creep round bit by bit. And when that relaxes and you can go a bit further, and then walk the hands back to the middle and walk them off again. So just go bit by bit rather than all the way. And I'm going to go a bit further now. Oh, now this side's much easier than the other side. Creep back to the middle. So the next thing we need to do are these hip flexors, because all those exercises where you were really working your abs hard and they got to failure and your hips and thighs came in to help. So what this is going to do is stretch out one thigh muscle and hip flexor all the way. So, how's it falling down? Okay, my hips are both facing the front, so in other words I'm not side to side. Take a big step forward. Get your balance first, and then just drop forward, making sure the knee stays behind the ankle. If you've got your knee here, you've overcooked it, and you're likely to pull these muscles here. So all you have to do is fidget back. That's all you have to do. Fidget till you're in the right position. So I'm now relaxed. Doesn't hurt at all, this. So if it hurts, you've overdone it, come back a bit. But I'm relaxing down into the stretch. I'm stretching this hip flexor muscle here. We've used loads. I'm getting a bit cramp in my toes, so I'm just curling my toe under. Luckily, I don't get cramp anywhere except in my toes. Sides, push back, change over. I'll show you from the front so you can see what's going on at the front. Notice I haven't got one foot in front of the other because that makes it a balance issue. So I'm still hip distance apart, sinking down into it. I'm upright. So my biggest nightmare now is trying to save this without losing it so I can put it straight onto YouTube. I bet it doesn't work. I've done the Facebook on the laptop. So if anybody knows what I've got to do to save this, please tell me. something. Hold on. Stay there. Oh. So Instagram has ended. I must be just a fraction over an hour. Okay, the only other stretch we're going to do is down dog. Hands here. Curly toes under. Push back. My feet and my hands are shoulder and hip distance apart. And I'm going to walk through the feet, prancing the feet. Push one heel down, other heel down. Again, I'm getting a stretch in my shoulders. It's as though somebody's pressing here, as I'm trying to press that between my legs. Both heels high, both heels low, and relax into it, honestly. If this is killing you, it's probably because your hands are too close, so you're getting too much of a stretch. So make that bigger. And you don't have to have your heels down. You have your heels wherever. And what the idea is to ease your heels to the floor. Not force them, ease them. So this is down dog. This is also down dog. And if you need your legs bent a little bit, that's also down dog. Don't worry about it. Honestly, it's your down dog, nobody else's. But I do see people like this struggling to do down dog, and they're like this, and it's honestly, it's not that big a deal. Your down dog can be anywhere, and you can have your legs bent. It doesn't matter. It will improve. Okay, if you drop the knees to the floor. Right, anybody knows how to save this, please tell me. I'm not sure. Never done it on my laptop before. Thank you very much. I hope you're all okay. If you've got any questions, text me, inbox me. Oh, somebody's internet's gone. Mine's fine. Oh, bless you. Okay, and if you let me know what you want to do next week, that's great as well. Okay, then thank you. Bear with me while I faff. Just switch off. Right, so I need to end live video, obviously, don't I? Oh my God, I've only got the, Richard, what team are you? Thanks, Carol. Richard, tell me what team it is. I've forgotten the new name. Oh my God. This is amazing. I'm just staying here a minute till he answers me. Okay. I've got to try and save it. I don't know how to save it. You have to tell me, Richard, who it is I've got with me. Right. It says if you end the live video now, you'll be able to choose if you want to save it or delete it. I'd like to